If you want to write a high quality book and you want to use that book to land paid speaking engagements, this is for you. I'm going to be sharing my 3-step process to 20K plus speaking engagements as an author. Now, I've done this where I've done this digitally for 15 minutes, and I've done this where I've flown across the country, across the world, and gotten paid. Okay, there's many different styles to make this work. But what I want to do is I want to give you the simplified version. I want to give you the 3-step process that I've used and I've taught hundreds of other people to use so that you can write a great book and turn that book into paid speaking engagements. Now, my name is Jake Kelfer. I'm a 4-time best-selling author, and I've used my book to build multiple successful businesses in the coaching, the speaking, and the book publishing space. And I'll be honest, when I first started writing my books, I had no idea how to use them. Shoot, I wrote my first book and I didn't even know that you could become a paid speaker on the back end of it. But as soon as I figured it out, I was getting paid thousands of dollars at 23 years old to travel the country, giving talks to colleges and high schools and different organizations around the United States. Fast forward a couple years, I was invited to China to speak on a 10-day tour. And since then, I've been able to get paid speaking gigs all over the world and be able to use my books to get in front of the decision makers and then get paid in a variety of different ways. And like I said, I'm going to give you the simplified version of how you can do this as well. So if you already have a book, great. Let's turn that book into a paid speaking engagement. If you don't have a book and you know that you want more speaking engagements, a book might be the answer. And so I'm going to break down my 3-step process. I'm literally going to give you all 3 steps right now. So if you don't even want to listen to the explanation of them, you can just get these 3 steps and go to work. But I've also broken them down, and I'm going to be giving you a little bit of insight into each one of these steps. Now, here it is. Step 1, you need to write a great book. If you don't have a book, you can't get paid on the back end of a book. Number 2, you need to get your book in the right hands and make sure people know what it is that you do and what you're looking for. And step 3, you got to get the gig and crush the gig so you can convert sales in a variety of ways. That's it. Okay? Now again, this is simplified. Write a great book, get the book in the right hands, get and crush the speaking gig. I know it's simplified, okay? But let's break this down a little bit more. In order to write a great book that will lead to speaking gigs, you want to position your book to do one very specific thing. You want your book to lead to the next thing, meaning that your book should give a ton of tangible and tactical value in the book so that the reader or the event coordinator or so that the decision maker knows you are the expert on this topic and you could deliver a great presentation on this topic. The book must teach something tangible and must teach something related to what you want to speak on. So, for example, I have a book called Big Idea to Bestseller. That book teaches people how to write, publish, and launch nonfiction books. I can now directly use that to speak. We had another author. His name was Joe. His book was on Enjoy the Grind. And in his book, he had different topics. Those topics directly correlated to the keynote speeches that he could give, ultimately getting him big bulk orders and paid thousands of dollars. So it's really important that you write a great book, and this book must teach something tangible. Now, when you write a great book like this, okay, we don't want it to be super long. We don't want it to be 200, 300, 400 pages. We want it to be about 150 pages, 30 to 40,000 words so that people can actually finish your book. We call this a lightning book. It's a flash of insight, okay? And what you want to do is you want to combine your expertise with your experience. So let's break this down a little bit further. First, we need to have stories in the book. These stories should resemble our personal experiences, our case studies, or testimonials. Why? Well, this builds trust and relatability with your reader so that the reader actually feels like you understand them. The reader feels like you know what they're going through. The reader can relate to you. And when people can relate to you, they feel that they know you. And if somebody feels like they know you just by reading your book, you're going to be able to shortcut the line to getting the gig. Let me give an example on this. When I first got in the speaking world, people said, oh, you have to wait about a year to get this gig. And I was like, why do I have to wait a year? And the reason for it is because most people want to see you speak before they hire you. They want to make sure that they're investing their money, their event money, their sponsorship money, whatever, their marketing dollars into a speaker who will be great for their audience. And speakers are expensive. And so they don't want to make bad decisions. And so what I realized though was if I give my book to them in advance, they would be able to understand me, my style, my personality, and know exactly what I could bring to the table. Boom. All of a sudden, they read my book, they knew what I would speak on, and they would hire me. Okay? So you want to tell your story to build trust and relatability. The second piece that you want to do in your book is you want to have expertise. This is where you're going to teach people what it is that you know. Now, I believe when you write a really great book, you teach. Share the information. Let people get real results just from your book alone. When you do that, you are going to be seen as a very credible authority. Credible authority gives people more confidence to bring you to their audience or to hire you to speak. Okay? The third piece of creating a book that combines your expertise with your experience is your methodology. So this is your step-by-step. This is your process to getting the result that you teach. Well, what does this do for the reader? This gives them the belief that they can do it, or the belief that you could teach their people how to do it in the form of speaking, consulting, or full-day, half-day workshops. All right, and so if you've done it, they can do it too. And then the last thing of what really makes a book stand out and what makes you special is your style. Give people a glimpse into the personality that you're going to bring to the table. In my books, I'll say, let's go, with 6 O's. I know that's grammatically incorrect, but that shows my personality, that shows my style. So if people want a super high energy, upbeat guy on this topic, they don't have to think about anyone else but me. So step number 1 is to write a great book that teaches something tactical that will allow the person to see you as the authority, which makes the decision for them to hire you even easier. Okay, great. Now, just because you have a great book, that doesn't mean you're going to just get a bunch of speaking gigs. This is where step 2 comes into play. Step 2 is get the book into the right hands and make what you do known. All right, so let's tackle this. How do we get our book into the right hands? Well, there's a few different ways that I like to do this. Number 1 is the research, okay? First of all, you need to understand who do you want to speak to and who is the audience of the event you're going to speak to. So for example, when I like to talk, as of now, I like to talk on how to use a book to grow your business. Great. So who are my exact audiences that are interested in this? Well, one really fantastic audience I know is the entrepreneurial community who are making over 6 figures plus a year in their business. That community is looking for ways to get more PR. They're looking for ways to maximize their dollars. They're looking for ways to stand out and differentiate themselves. They're looking to get to the next level. Okay, great. So now I ask myself, well, where do these people hang out? What events are they going to? What communities are they already a part of? And so this is part of the research phase. Who is the group that you want to speak to? And then on the flip side, who are the people that have the audiences of who you want to speak to? And you're going to do some research. And you're going to jot down these communities, these events, these event coordinators, the host of these places. Let me give you another example, okay? We have clients who speak at corporate events. So they'll write a book and they'll use it to reach out to head of HR. They'll use it to reach out to specific departments and companies based on what their book's about so that that person can have their book. The goal of that is to get it in their hands so that that person can be like, oh my gosh, our team needs this. I must bring them out to speak. This is really, really awesome. Okay? And so the first part you want to do is the research. Who's your audience? Who are the people that have your audience? What are the events and conferences that are hosting? Are they digital or in person? And who's in charge of making the decisions? You want to do some research. And yes, this part's going to take some time. That's just the way it goes. Next is, how do we actually get the book into these people's hands? Well, there's a variety of different ways. You can give the book or you can sell the book. Now, let's talk through how we can give the book. Some of the ways where you can give your book is you can do VIP swag bags for events and conferences. You can send copies to new connects and contacts that you meet. You can send a copy of the book via email to these event hosts. Now, here's what's really cool. You can send an early copy of the book to somebody that's new. You can send the PDF once it's done before it's launched. You can let people know that your book is upcoming to start building the relationship and then send the book later. There's a lot of great ways to promote this before and after your launch. You can give away your book at networking events. You can run specials where anytime someone buys one, you gift one to somebody else. That way you're covering some costs. You can partner with people in complementary industries. So if you write a book and you're in the, let's just say in the health space, okay, and you know a lot of your clients also see chiropractors, well, maybe talk to some chiropractors and see if they'll give your book to their clients who could also use you. So people that are in Pilates might have a complementary person in the health space. People who are in financial space might also have partners in the legal space, the accounting space. And again, I don't know exactly what you can and can't do in every single industry, but it's often great to look at who are complementary partners that have your same audience, but aren't competing with you for the same project, okay, or the same product. The other side of it, after giving the books, and let me stop here for a second. I love giving books. I give away as many books as I possibly can because I know that I would rather give my book to the potential right fit in hopes of the back end deal that could come from that more than I care about making that one-time sale. Plus, when you give a book to somebody, you're building great rapport. It's a great gift because there's a tangible value attached to a physical book, right? Sometimes we give these PDFs or these digital products and it's what we perceive the value to be. But a book has real value. You go online, you buy it for this amount. That is the cost of the gift, right? Obviously, you can get your books at a cheaper rate than you would sell them for, but you understand my point here is that books have tangible value. So I love to give my book away as much as possible. But you can also sell your books to the right audience. You can sell them through Amazon, your own website, Shopify, pre-plus shipping funnel. You can sell them in bundles. Whatever you got to do to get your book in the right hands is what you got to do. Now, I'll be honest. I have had more speaking gigs come from giving away books to the right person than from selling the books to the right person. But I've also had tons of high-paying clients come from buying my book, reading my book, and then asking how to work with me. And here's the kicker, okay? And here's the kicker. And I got some notes right here, but here's the kicker, is you need to make sure that people know you are a speaker. So whether they buy your book or you give them your book, what we love to do for my books and for our clients' books is we like to include a story or two of you as a speaker in the book in some way, shape, or form. Or I like to do what I call a here's what to do next section at the end of the book. Because we're writing books that aren't taking people forever and ever and ever to read, they're actually finishing them. And at the end of the book, there's a here's what to do next section. And in that section, you say, if you want to hire Jake to speak, do X, Y, and Z. So now you're letting them know exactly what can come next. All right, so the last part of this, of getting the books into the right hands, is you need to make sure that they know what it is that you do. And you could do some of the things that I just shared, but you also want to build the relationship. You want to make sure you're following up. You want to make sure you have lead generation in there to capture contact information. And then you want to set yourself up for your speaking success. So do you have a demo reel? Do you post photos and videos of you speaking, even if it's not to any audience, but of you speaking so people could see your style? Do you have this on your website? Do you have testimonials? The earlier you are in your speaking career, the less of this stuff you'll have. The further along you get, the more you're going to have. And this is really, really spectacular. But the book is the key vessel. The book is the vehicle to getting you to shortcut that line to meeting the right people who can hire you. Now, the last part of this, okay, is to get the gig and crush it. So you've written a great book, you've gotten it in the right hands, you've made yourself known. Now you got to get the gig and crush it. Now, there are a few different ways to do it, but I'm going to focus on two different ways where you can get paid as a speaker, okay? One of them is you can be contracted out as a speaker for an event. So this is where the event will hire you in the form of a speaking fee. Now, for a lot of speakers, this is the primary way people get paid. And this is the way that I started my career, and this is the way that I know a lot of people like to get paid because they want the guaranteed money. So essentially, you set your rate, you'll create your offer, they will hire you for a speech, and you'll say, okay, it's $5,000. Great, you get $5,000. Doesn't matter what happens after the fact, but you are guaranteed that $5,000 to show up and deliver what you got to deliver. Now, bonus tip is in your speaker fee, always make sure to either make it clear that you're including the plus, the travel, the hotel, the food, the meal, the flight, etc., or it's your fee plus extra, and they are responsible for covering the expenses of your trip. That's important to know, and you want to come into mind when you're in negotiations. Okay. Now, with these types of gigs, you're going to get your speaker fee. Sometimes you can increase that speaker fee by asking if they want to buy books for every attendee. or if you could have a booth after the fact where you could sell your own books. Depending on the type of event and depending on the negotiation, this can be a great way to increase your speaker fee by anywhere from 10 to 30 to 50%, depending on the size of the audience. I know that I've been paid several $1,000s for a speech, and then I've sold several $1,000s worth of books after the fact, increasing my fee. So just think about the advice I'm going to give you here is think about what is your speaker fee? What is your objective? What are you focused on? And then are there other opportunities to increase that amount of money you're going to make for that one gig? The complete opposite end of the spectrum is what I'm going to share with you next, which is how to get the gig. If you don't want to do any of this stuff and you just want to get speaking gigs because you know you have a great offer on the back that will convert and it's way higher than your speaker fee, then one really awesome thing that you can do is sponsor events and that guarantee you a speaking slot. So let me give you an example of what I mean by this. Let's say my speaker fee is $10,000. You can bring me as a speaker. It's going to cost you $10,000. Okay. But I know that in my business, we sell products from anywhere from $1,500 to $15,000 to $50,000 plus. Okay. So if I take the $10,000 as the speaker fee, that's great. It's guaranteed. But if I sponsor the event, I'm paying to be there. But then I have the opportunity to sign way more than $10,000 worth of potential clients. And so this is where it can get really fun and really interesting. And so sponsoring events can be really great for you if you have an established offer on the back end that you know converts. And then you just go to the events, you sponsor the event, you guarantee a speaking slot, and then you're able to convert on the back end. And this is something that has been really great. I've done this a few times where I've spent anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 to sponsor an event. And on the backside of that, I've returned anywhere from $15,000 to $100,000 of projected revenue on the back end, which is exponentially larger than what my speaker fee would have been. So I'm sharing all this because you get to choose your path. You get to choose your path as how you get paid, and there's so many different ways to get paid. But what you got to do if you want to get paid as a speaker is you have to write your book, get the book in the right hands, and then get and crush the gig. When you do those three things, and that's the simplified version, you'll be able to turn your book into speaking opportunities that get you paid at a high level. So I hope that you really enjoyed this. And if you want more help about this and you want to learn more about how to write a great book and use it for speaking engagements, then go to bigideatobestseller.com/call. We'll hop on a call. We'll walk you through everything, create a game plan, and then make sure that you have the step-by-steps on how this will actually work. And if you want to just learn more about how to write a book, maybe you're at step one. We'll go to bigideatobestseller.com/free-book, and you'll be able to get a free copy. Like I said, I love to give away copies of my book. You'll be able to get a free copy of my book, Big Idea to Bestseller, which is a step-by-step roadmap on how to write, publish, and launch a nonfiction book. So there you have it. This is my 3-step process to landing 20K plus speaking engagements as an author, the simplified way. See you next time.